Today, we're going to go over HighLevel's newest updates, so stay tuned and build along with us. As a lot of us know, the people that are actually inside of HighLevel every day, the updates are always happening on an everyday basis. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pull some of the best updates that we believe you got to keep your eye on or try because, again, they're going to have an impact on you and your business. Let's dive into the first one. The first update, realize that it's a summer of AI and there's a free AI employee from May 26th all the way to September 1st. And if you use our link below, you'll get access to some affiliate bonuses. So make sure you check it out. First one that we're going to go over today is brand. Now, there's been a lot of hype over, making brand design and also doing a brand voice, and HighLevel's made it a little bit easier for us. For a lot of you who don't know, we already had some cool settings for brand, but if I go into the main menu on the left-hand side, I go over to settings and I go all the way to the bottom and I go to brand boards. Brand boards, for anybody that wasn't aware, is you can bring in your logo and your colors into your actual account so you don't have to keep calling them, meaning you don't have to find the colors and everything else. So the first thing that you're going to want to notice is that there's now the design kit and that there's the brand voice, both of which are pretty cool. So if you go to brand voice and you come in here, you're going to be able to add your brand. When you add your brand, you're going to come in here and you can select either start from scratch or you can build your entire brand voice all at once. Or really cool, what you can do is get a text or URL. So for instance, I have Automated Marketer as my website. So I'm just going to type that in real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Automated Marketer website right there. And then from here, I'm going to grab that, copy it, and I'm going to put it directly in here. All right, when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and it's going to grab all the context inside of Automated Marketer to help me with my brand voice. So again, I don't have to do it. Then what I'm going to do is grab the logo and the colors and show you how you can make your own brand board. What's cool is once this is all said and done, I now can bring that over and I can go ahead and adjust it. Look at it. So not only did it come up with some tone of voice, brand promise, brand values, all the things that have to do with my brand, it also allows me to set up my company address, the actual company email, and then more importantly, if I have a phone number that people can connect to, it's all in here. So this looks great. It's grayed out. So I'm assuming I have to fill out some of these things in here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go right into brand design. And I'm going to show you how you actually can add your colors and your logos into one place. So then you can call it every time you're designing and do whatever you need to do. All right. So I went ahead and added all the other additional information and look, we are all set. We have our first brand voice here. Now the design kit works kind of in the same way. So I'm just going to delete this one here so you guys can see it. I'm going to add a design and I'm going to start from blank because I have colors and I have everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and here you have your square logo, like you're almost like your favicon, and you have your regular logo. So I'm going to go ahead and add the first one. So I'm going to come over here to updated logo, come in here. Oh, there's the first one. All right. And as you can see, it added both logos. Same thing with your colors for your actual site. So if I come in here and I want to kind of modify these colors up here on the left-hand side, there are colors. I could choose the colors that I want. So if I come in here and I go to my site, and you can get any kind of color picker using Chrome extensions. I have one that I like a lot. It's literally called Color Picker. I click on it. I come in here and I use the eyedropper. I find the color that I'm looking for. And then what it does is it automatically copies it. So what I can do here is I can just copy that code, bring it right over here. And we are going to place that code directly in there. Oops, sorry about that. Right in here. We have to hit on that little color square right there in order to make it. Boom. And then I'll grab my second color, which is going to be that blue. So I'm going to come over here, color picker again. Look, I can highlight it. Boom, right in there. Now I got that color. Grab this right here, copy it, come over here, click on this color splash again. Boom. And I got my instant brand voice. Pretty cool, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set a board. We'll make sure you name it so everybody knows that this is Automated Marketer. And my team now has the ability of reaching out for these colors without having to search for them and doing whatever else. Now, the really cool thing about it is you can also do this for fonts. So if you come over here, you go to fonts, typography. Now, all I have to do is I also have something called Font Ninja. If I click on this Font Ninja, I can go ahead and select any kind of font I want in here for it, which again, I don't have anything really crazy in here. All right. And it's called Monstret. Then I'm going to see if I can look for it. Usually these are all the ones that are in Google. So yep, there we go. And now this is all set. I save board and I'll be able to do it. Now, what's really cool about this, I know I'm spending a little time on this, is that if you go to sites and you go to build anything inside of here now, so for instance, if I come in here and I wanted to access those colors, all I have to do is go into any of these funnels now, hit edit. And if I come in here and I go to the colors in the back, the color options, I'll have my 2 brand colors in here. All right. And next is the actual linking and of an opportunity to an actual estimate. The reason this is cool is because If you have people or multiple salespeople, or you have a staff and you want to know if somebody's been actually sent an invoice, if they paid an invoice or an estimate per se, you're going to be able to link the actual invoice to the opportunity. So let me show you how that works. So first and foremost, you have to have the actual opportunity inside your pipeline. So if you're managing a pipeline just like this, inside this test account, you're going to notice that I have 2 pipelines, and I have one in here for new node test and a second one for new node test. So this new node test is the one I actually want to link to an opportunity. So what I'll do is I'll come over here to payments. I create either an invoice or an estimate, right? So if I go do an estimate, I come into estimates. If I wanted to do an invoice, I do an invoice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to all invoices. And if I was going to take this service invoice that I did for that particular person, right? Same new node test, and it's got to make sure that it's the same customer that's on the invoice. So when you're making the invoice, you can't connect it to the opportunity if the card doesn't exist, and 2, the opportunity or the estimate is not inside of here. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on here. When you click on here, you're going to notice that you have now a linked opportunity area. So inside of here, you can link the opportunity, and lo and behold, look when it comes up, new node test, because he's the primary inside of that one. And I'm able to immediately connect this invoice to it. So when I send it, it will automatically update inside the opportunity area, and this will actually be into an opportunity itself. Also note that inside the card, you have the same option. So if you come in here, you're going to double click on the card back into the opportunities pane, go under payments, and you can create an invoice and an estimate directly here. This is going to be great, especially if your salespeople are only working off of the opportunity area. This gives you an additional area where you can, again, collect money. And also realize that the same thing with automations. Inside automations, whenever a pipeline stage changes, you can automatically send an invoice as long as you have it as a template. So if I come in here and let's say I have a 24/7 lead magnet, I want to create a quick little flow. So basically what I can do is, based on some kind of customer action, I can immediately come in here. If you guys didn't know this already, you can send a contract. So I can send an invoice, send an estimate. And what's really cool about that is I can make the template. Again, you have to make sure that a template exists in order for you to do that. But again, it's here. And you can also do it where if somebody moves to a certain pipeline stage. So if I do from a pipeline stage changed, I come in here, add filters, and I say in pipeline lead management, right? And I move it to, let's say, pipeline stage being send invoice for service. Hit save action, come in here, send, and now I can send an invoice directly to here as long as the invoice has the template information already stored in there. Pretty cool update, but again, incredibly useful, especially if you want to start linking sales to leads and so forth and so on to actually track where the status of those are. All right, the next one's a really, really cool update. I know that this has been on the minds of a lot of people running communities inside of HighLevel. And again, this is something that I even asked for myself personally. So for instance, if you come in here and here in our test account and you have a community, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you log into your community and you have courses inside of your community, you now can actually give courses based on a bunch of different things. So first thing is I have my different channels in here. Know that I have this VIP members area as we speak here. This is again a private channel. And the way you know that is because it's got a secret lock on it. Now you can create these channels and make them private by literally make this channel only private and read only channel, meaning members can only see updates, but they can't actually post. On top of that, make believe I only wanted to give access to a course for my VIP members only and not everybody else in my public group. Hey, we want to interrupt this video for a quick little minute to just let you know that I hope you're enjoying this video. We want to thank you for being here, but more importantly, we are hoping that this content helps you do whatever you're trying to do inside of HighLevel. We also want to let you know that you have options to get additional help. We offer a $197 a month VIP coaching program that includes 4 days of office hours, first come, first serve with Andy or myself, where we go in and we answer any of your questions that you might have live with a group setting for other people that are also working in HighLevel. We also have a VIP group where we answer questions directly one-on-one with anybody posting in that group to give you the absolute best support. It also comes with a bunch of other features, including our funnel brick system, our little mini course, and more importantly, a couple guides that'll help you through this, and also including our SOP library that we use for pretty much everything inside of our agency. So thank you for this quick little minute, but more importantly, go back to the video, get whatever you need, and if you have any questions that we can answer inside the video, just drop a comment on the video and we'll make sure to answer whenever we get a chance. And now back to the show. What I can do now inside of the VIP area, click on the VIP private area, go into members, and actually you don't even need to click on it, but go into learning, come in here. This is the actual course that I just want the VIP members to have. What I can do is if I click on the 3 little dots and I hit edit, you're now going to notice we have all these options now. We can do a level unlock based on when they hit a certain level, based on participation or rewards that they receive. Buy now, where again, people can buy the course at any given time. Time unlocks, members will unlock after a certain amount of days. And now you can actually only give access to private channel members inside of your actual community by clicking this, and you select the private channel, hit update course, and now this course will be channel based only, based on the actual private members area that you have here. Great upgrade, especially if you're running a free group and you want to have a paid group on the side. This is a great way to do it. And now you can classify the courses for the private members area to make it super easy for anybody to get access only for your private members and make a little additional money on it. Really, really cool update. Love this update. I think it's pretty massive. And then on the other thing, just in case you didn't know about last time, you can host events in here now and you have a chat. But most importantly, when you click on event, you come in here, and again, you can make it where now you can collect payments based on the event as long as you have a payment provider connected. So really cool updates. Love that this is happening. But again, make sure that you're aware, but the private channel thing is absolutely sweet. So the next updates are 3 major updates that are happening in AI. Also understand that the AI interface is going to change in the next month or two. So we're going to get a massive upgrade when it comes to AI over the next month. But the 3 main ones that I'm super excited about, that I actually had a lot of back and forth with the developers on, and we're really excited about the big changes that they made, is first and foremost, there is now where you can have multiple databases and knowledge bases. What that means is you can have multiple bots that are doing multiple things in here. So for instance, if I wanted to have a bot that just does sales and I wanted to upload all different kinds of sales scripts, different URLs, information on the product, and just have very different instructions for that bot versus other bots that are inside my system, I now can do that. Because what you can do now is you can manage knowledge bases and you can name your knowledge bases. So for instance, I can have one for my webinar, I can have one for the architects, which is my other company, I can have one for myself, and I can have one that's just a general knowledge base. What's really cool about it is if I come in here and I go to the webinar, I can upload all kinds of different information based on that. And we can add FAQs that are specific to the webinar one. So for instance, if I wanted to put a live chat inside an actual webinar, like an evergreen webinar or a VSL, and I wanted to put it just for that particular video, I now can add it to the bottom right-hand side of a chat window, and it can only work on answering questions regarding that particular webinar. Pretty good ammunition for anybody that is doing video sales letters or webinars or even live events. Somebody signing up for a live event and you want only a bot that has information about that live event inside of there. You now can create this knowledge base that's very specific to certain events, very specific to a certain ask, like a sales or booking an appointment, whatever it is that you want to do. But now you have the ability of doing this. Now, the other thing that you're going to notice is that we have FAQs. So those will be very particular to that particular knowledge base, and you can name your knowledge base. So for instance, this will be webinar. Now, notice that we have the exact URL. It's the way that you can actually pull information to. And notice that I actually have a Google document in here. So for instance, if I wanted to create a document that has all the details about my event, what I can do is I can come over here and I can go to my docs.new, right? So I come in here into this webinar doc, right? And I put webinar info, and then I would lay it out with the date, the time, the product, whatever it is that I want to do, any questions and FAQs, and I wanted to have this document into that knowledge base. I'd make a document inside of Google Documents. I come over here and name it like webinar info. And then more importantly, what I'll do is I'll go to the top right-hand side, hit share, and then do anyone with the link, copy that link, go back inside of here. And then what I'll do is I'll Control A, Control V, and now I hit get data, and it's going to upload that data directly in here on top of me manually adding the FAQ. Then later on, as you can see, we'll have the ability of uploading files, which is going to make it even better. So understand that this is coming. This is already live. Now, the reason that's cool is because now let's make believe I'm in the conversational bot and I wanted to give it just information on that webinar. What I can do is I can make it where it's a web chat. So I can create a bot or a live chat, right? I can take this right here. Let's take Mary, for instance. I hit edit. And then when I come in here, what I'll do is I'll come in here, put it on autopilot. Notice that I have the live chat. I have it all set up. And then what I'm going to do under the bot training, you're going to notice that I now have a pre-selector for a knowledge base directly in here. So you see the knowledge base, I can come in here and I can actually grab it and it will pull all the information from that specific knowledge base. And then I can test the bot and add FAQs. The cool thing of it is when I'm doing this and I'm working through it, I now can add the FAQs in here and it will automatically add to the knowledge base that I just created. Now, this brings me to my second really big update, which is the ability of transferring bots based on the way the conversation's going. So make believe that you created a knowledge base that's just qualifying questions and you want to qualify your people to, basically book an appointment. So what you can do now, let's say in the conversational AI, I now have the ability of transferring the bot. So I could set the transfer bot to basically enable a scenario. The scenario would be that the person will come in here. I'm going to add a new bot transfer. I would call it sales, and the bot will transfer, let's say, to Kate, who's only dedicated to sales and or booking an appointment. This one is a general Q&A bot, and I want to make sure that the one that's doing sales is a little bit more qualified. So what I'll do is I'll set up a knowledge base, I'll train it a little bit differently, and what I'll do is I'll transfer to that bot when somebody qualifies. Now, the trigger action that is set in here, if you come in here, define a specific scenario or phrase that will activate the trigger action. For example, it could be when a user asks to speak to a human or agent. You can go ahead and do that, and you can give it example phrases into doing that. Now, if somebody says, I would like to book an appointment, and you want this bot to just basically answer questions on the booking bots, is this book appointments? Which again, the more single lead focused the bot is, the better results you're gonna have. But again, you can always book appointments, but it could be something else, right? Or, I'd like to know more about this company or this product or this webinar. You can automatically transfer into it, and then you add the whole entire thing, and then you select the bot that it goes transferred to. So again, in this case, I named it. This is the default action that it's going to go to. It's going to go to Kate. And then I can give a whole bunch of example phrases of how the bot's going to transfer and when it does. Huge update. And again, the reason it's huge is because if you had multiple businesses, let's say in one account, or you have different services and you want one bot focusing on each service, you're now going to be able to switch them pretty easily. Which brings me to my third update on AI, which has to do with multi-languages. Now, what's really cool about the Voice AI agent, I'm going to click on my Voice AI agent right here on the left-hand side. You're now going to have the ability of making your bot multi-language. Now, if you come in here, I have Armando, who's basically answering all my calls. And then come over here, you're going to notice that we now have a language, and it's either English or you have Spanish and you have a couple of other ones. Now, the really cool thing about this is you can now have this as multi-language. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our labs. Inside of labs, you're going to notice that there's some things you need to turn on. Now, labs is a great way to test new products. This is what we're always doing. We're always turning these on. You're going to scroll all the way down, and you're going to notice that you have somewhere in here in the labs that you got to turn on, Voice AI Multilingual. It's going to be enabled in 2 days anyway, so we're going to go ahead and confirm. You might already have it live, so skip this step if it's already live for you. And what you're going to do is you're going to go back to here, and we're going to go over to our settings again. From our settings, we're going to go over to our Voice AI agents. So now we go back to our bot, and you're going to notice language over here again, just like we did before. And what I'm going to do is we're going to come all the way down, and now you're going to have multi-language, which is Spanish and English. How cool is that, right? So now you have a bot that can speak 2 languages. So the next one I'm actually super excited about also because this is a big organization kind of help. So a lot of people over time will collect a bunch of snapshots. They'll have things really doing all the same things. Like for instance, appointment reminders, you might download a snapshot, it has appointment reminders. You might download another snapshot, it has appointment reminders. You might have built your own. And then what happens is you have all these things sending out appointment reminders. So when somebody actually books an appointment, instead of getting like 1 appointment reminder, they get 7. Happens all the time, especially with a lot of things that we're trying to track down. Now, what I'm going to show you is pretty darn cool. Inside of workflows, if you go into automations and you go to workflows, you are going to notice that you have a smart list section up here, and you also have advanced filters. Now, for instance, if I wanted to find all the automations that start with appointment reminders, I can now come over here and I can go to trigger type is, and I can select birthday reminder, text reminder, or appointment status. Now, if I click on that and hit apply, what I'll do is see it grabs all my appointment reminders that are working off of that particular filter. Now, if I come over here and I want to do it based on tags, tag is, let's say 10K list, and I hit apply, it will pull all the ones that will have that particular trigger being with that tag. And then I can keep going on and on. So if like, for instance, I wanted to know an action type every time, we're doing an assigned user because maybe assigned user is being assigned to the wrong individual. I can hit assign user, hit applied, and now I can have all of that. So the filter is definitely for when you're struggling and you're trying to find something really quick and you're like, oh my God, where did I put that? This is the best way to do it. Now, the cool thing about this is you can come in here and let's just deactivate the filter. So we're just going to trash the filter real quick. The other thing you can do is you can create a smart list. So I can add a smart list and I can put advanced filters on. Let's say I can do by workflow name And if the workflow name contains, let's say, webinar, or, I'm big on naming, so usually I do conventions of like P0s, like the first initial or PO. I now can create smart lists that can track all of my particular workflows for like a particular webinar, a particular, lead magnet kind of like flow or anything else. But the reason this is cool is I now can create a smart list and I can easily find my automations based on those particular ones. What's awesome about that is it's going to save time. It's going to help you organize a whole lot better. So on top of having folders, which we always recommend, you now have the ability to troubleshoot by using the filters and creating smart lists that are very specific to the actual workflows, which again is going to be a massive, massive time saver. This is one of my favorite updates for organization, and you're going to absolutely love it. So the last and final update is email warmup. Now, we've been asking this for a very long time, and it's still kind of a brand new launch. So honestly, don't know how great it is yet, but if you guys want to try it and you're trying to warm up a domain, they now released a fixed stage email warm-up sending domain. So what this means is, long story short of it, when you go ahead and you set up a new email service, like for instance, I have it here, what you're going to notice is you now have integrate Google Postmaster. Integrating Google Postmaster is free. You should definitely always do it so then you can track the reputation of the actual domain. And then in here, you're going to notice a start warm-up button. Now, what's really cool about this is, make believe you have a list of 5,000 people. What a lot of people were doing is they were going to get the list of 5,000 people and they blast on the first day. What happens with that is when you blast on the first day, you immediately ruin your reputation because the email bots that are living inside of Google Workspace or Microsoft or Yahoo, or whatever else, they're noticing a brand new IP mass send a whole bunch of emails, which causes your email deliverability score to drop. And that score is almost like a credit score. It goes up and down pretty randomly. And the worse the score, the less chances you have of getting into the inbox. What's cool though about this kind of staged warm up is that you're going to make an email. You're going to try to send it to all 1,000 people. If you have, 5,000 people, I should say. If you have start warm up, what you do is you hit that button, and what will happen is everybody gets loaded into a server or warm up server. And every day it will naturally pause at 1,000, move to the next day, which is going to be 2,000, and it will kind of gradually get you to your sending limit over time. But the system is actually going to do it. So if I wanted to do this, what I do is I put everybody into, let's say, a 5 email campaign inside of a workflow. I drop all 5,000 in. Once I do that, I would hit the start warm up. And what it will do is it will stop like at 1,000 emails per day because that's what you're allowed. And it will constantly do that until you get to your sending limit. Now, it does this automatically. You can't really have a lot of other emails going on, especially if you have a very large list, because it's going to get to that 1,000 and it's going to stop you from sending any emails. The change log is right here, and it says, this feature is being rolled out in Labs beta program, which again, I'm in. You'll need to manually enable it to start using warm-up domains. And basically what it does is it starts a email warm-up, and you're going to notice that it's going to then create a different box that's going to be called, your email warm-up. And you're going to notice that you send 0 emails to today to build the strongest reputation and to reach your daily limit consistently, meaning that's why you want to create a 5 email sequence and you want to have a pretty large list. Lists under 1,000 is not going to really apply to you. But then what you want to do is put them in a campaign. This will then start sending. When it hits that 1,000, it will automatically pause and then send. And what I mean by campaigns is campaigns are inside of here. If you go into your area right here under marketing, you go to emails, and inside of emails, you're going to go over your campaigns. You come in here, you hit create a campaign, you would do whatever it is, and then you send it to all 5,000 people. The rest will be regulated inside of here. Again, automatic warm-up from newly created, manual warm-up activation for existing domains, and smart warm-up stage based on past sending activity and postmaster data, depending on whether you're in the high reputation or low reputation. And then here, it's how it works is each stage has a daily sending limit. You'll progress to the next stage only after reaching the current day's limit. No hourly caps, so that means not every hour they're going to, pretty much stop you from happening. Emails must be sent through a warming domain to move forward. Warm-up automatically pauses once the daily limit is hit and resumes the next day. During the initial phase, sending above the stage limit is allowed and emails will not be black. However, future updates strictly enforce the limits, again, to protect your reputation. So how to enable? Really simply, anytime you create any kind of domain inside of here, so if I go to settings and I go to email services, and you actually have one where you're building it out. So if I come in here and I hit dedicated domain, it's automatically there. All you got to do is literally, connect and integrate Google Postmaster first, which again is all button related. You come in here, you just literally put in connect your Google Postmaster from there, and it'll take care of the rest. And then the rest is hitting that start warm up. And then that's what it's going to happen all the time. And it's going to give you some other instructions in here, right? So you have it here. Go to settings, email services, like we mentioned. When enabling email warm-up on existings, the system will recommend a starting stage based on historical email activity. So it goes back and it says, okay, we know that you send this much, and then that's what it'll do it. It'll also take the Google Postmaster data and then analyze whether you're in high reputation, low reputation, and then start from there. So again, really cool thing. This is the warm-up, the help section that's already kind of here that explains the daily limit and so forth and so on as you have it, and you'll have the ability of doing that there. So again, pretty awesome updates altogether. These are all updates that, again, there's a lot of updates that are happening on a regular basis, but these are the ones that we find incredibly valuable. So hope you're trying some of these out, and we'll see you in the next one.